Today I am with Crystal Whitten. Hi, Crystal.
Hi.
She is with the Loan Ladies in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, where we are, of course, here today to talk about some exciting news with some grant funds. And I'll let Crystal explain what a grant fund is, how it works, and how this is really geared for first-time home buyers or someone who hasn't owned a home for the last 3 years. I'm going to turn it over to you. So let's start with the great, fabulous news. Tell us how it works. If there is a first-time home buyer, just walk us through the process and why this is so fabulous.
Yeah, it is a federal grant that we are giving to our first-time home buyers. And as Elizabeth mentioned, a first-time home buyer is a traditional first-time home buyer who has truly never owned a home, but it's also someone that hasn't owned a home in the last 3 years. So if you owned a home maybe 10 years ago, but you've been renting since then, you would probably be eligible for this grant program. It's based on income, so there are some overlays. So not only do you have to be a first-time home buyer, you also you have to make at or below 80% of the area median income, so the AMI, of the county that you're purchasing in.
That's a mouthful.
That is a mouthful.
All right, well, let's just say we're in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Do we have different?
We do. So Dallas, you can actually make a little more than the Fort Worth side.
Okay.
So,
all right.
We can help you with that. It is based on your household size. So how many people are in your home and how many people are contributing to the income coming into your home.
But you would look at, let's say it's a husband and wife, it would be combined income.
Yes, correct.
For the limit.
Okay. $25,000 is given for down payment. So they don't have to come with any down payment money out of pocket.
Okay.
And it's also given for closing costs, which when you go to purchase a home, you'll find out that closing costs can be quite pricey. And so this grant allows the buyers to really get into the home without paying a down payment, without having to worry about the closing cost expense. In fact, the minimum requirement from the buyer in order to use this grant is $500 on the contract.
You mean minimum out of their pocket?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Okay.
So they do have to contribute at least $500 of their own funds.
All right.
Okay. But other than that, everything else can be covered under that $25,000 umbrella.
The Metroplex, are you seeing on average, I think maybe it said at or below around 85,000?
It's going to be for a family of 4. Will probably be around 65,000 if it's just like a couple. Okay. This grant money is forgiven. It is forgiven after 5 years. So you do have to keep your home either for 5 years or and not refinance for 5 years. If you choose to, if you need to move, or the rates come way down and we'll all be happy.
Yes.
And you need to refinance, you just have to pay back whatever portion of the grant is still outstanding.
How do you figure that out?
So the way they figure that out is each month, a portion of it is forgiven. So they basically take the $25,000 and divide it by 60 months.
Okay.
And so roughly you are forgiving about $416 a month. Whatever is remaining on it, if that was the case and you needed to, again, sell your home for whatever reason, or rates came down and we wanted to refinance, we would just have to pay that portion back.
Gotcha.
Great thing about this program, if you have ever looked into down payment assistance programs,
I have,
then you know that they typically come with higher interest rates.
I do. We've had more than a few buyers said, hey, can you look into this? And we came back and we said, oh my gosh, it's better for you just to have a conventional FHA loan than to take advantage of these programs.
These first-time home buyer programs.
Yes.
Most of the time, down payment assistance programs, they're fantastic. And if you need them, you should definitely use them. But they are coming at a higher interest rate. You may, for instance, qualify for 6.75 on a traditional if you have your own money to put down. But by that same token, if you asked me to look at a down payment assistance program, that same day it may be 7.75. So we're talking probably 3/4 to a whole point higher than the interest rate you would traditionally qualify for.
Comparison. What's the good news on the grant as far as the interest?
Grant,
that was my first question the other day. Tell me about the interest rate.
So the grant program allows you to qualify at whatever you would normally qualify for. There is no overlay. There's no extra amount they're adding to that interest rate. So if that person qualified for 6.75, they would get 6.75. They would not have that higher interest rate. The grant allows you to use some of the $25,000 to buy down the rate. So you qualify for 6.75, maybe we buy down the rate to 6.25. So 6.25 no down payment. That's a pretty smoking
Right, for 30 years.
for
right?
30
It's
years.
fixed.
Yes, it is fixed.
All right.
So it's a great opportunity for our first time home buyers to really take advantage of it, be able to get in and with a low payment, a normal payment, not a really high payment,
Right.
and very little out of pocket.
In my experience, when I hear the word grant, that usually means there's limited funds. So tell me how this program is working.
It is a first come, first serve basis. It goes very quick every year. I would say if you know a first time home buyer, you tell them to jump now. We had funds that were just released in January. They will probably be gone by early March. Another round of funds will be released in May and then again in October. Every time it's going to be a quick. People are jumping on it. They want to take advantage of this, just an opportunity to be able to get into a home. This is going to help a lot of people that really they feel like they're never going to be able to purchase. They haven't been able to save up a lot of money. And so for them in their heads, they're never going to be able to be a homeowner. And in this situation, it allows them to get down payment money. It allows them to get closing cost money so they can really realize, like, I'm going to be able to own a home.
Yeah.
So
I think that's pretty amazing. Now, we're here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Does the money only apply here? What if somebody lives in San Antonio, or we have clients all over?
Yes, all over the state of Texas. And in fact, it's outside of the state of Texas as well. I am licensed in 35 states. It is a lower amount outside of the state of Texas. In most other states, it's $20,000.
Even better. All right. Have the basic scenario. Limited time offer.
Yes.
I feel like the
very limited
the commercial, right?
It is.
Limited time.
Act now.
Yeah, we're gonna flashing. Limited time, and it just released in January. In your experience, those funds go very quickly.
Really quick.
We can do it. You can do it anywhere in Texas, but also 30 other states. Apply like a regular mortgage.
Yes, ma'am.
You would go through their credit worthiness, all that kind of good stuff, and as long as the income meets whatever that threshold is for the area they're looking.
Correct.
So you would obviously be talking to me saying, hey, Elizabeth, where are they looking?
Correct.
Right? What
Correct.
Area of town?
So we're going to talk to them about their family size. It is based on household size too. Okay. So very important. A lot of these down payment assistance programs are not based on household. This is based on household, not only income, but the number of people in your household. So very important for me to know how many people you have in your household and how many people are contributing income.
So what if you have elderly parent living with you?
If your elderly parent is receiving Social Security, that would count towards the income limit.
As a family member household.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. But they're going to release, it sounds like several other times during the year.
So we're going to have it in May and again in October. So if you don't get an opportunity to take advantage now, hopefully we can get you all set up and ready to go by May.
To own the home or keep the home for 5 years.
Yes.
And they cannot refinance during that time?
They can.
Oh, they can?
But they just have to pay the portion back.
Oh, I see. They would lose essentially the benefit of the grant funds during that time period.
They have to pay it back. It can come out of the equity in your property. So a lot of times when you're refinancing, you're paying the refinance costs out of the equity in your home. So when your lender looks at it, they're going to look at it and see, okay, you owe this much on your first mortgage, plus you have a little outstanding balance from your grant. Do we have enough equity in your home to be able to refinance?
Let to say that in that situation, because I mean, life happens. I mean, we've had 100%. More than a few clients that
100%.
First-time home buyers bought a home, loved it, and then life changed.
Right.
So I just want to reassure everybody that if something should happen, it's really just a phone call and a conversation to say, here's what's happened. Then you and I would talk about, okay, here's where the market is. Here's what we think the equity might be. And you would run all the numbers to see what the options are.
Correct.
We always want to give people options.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we will let you know, does it make sense for you?
Right.
If it makes sense, then we will put you on the path to refinancing and we can take care of that for you as well.
Right. Perfect. Okay. Anything else we need to know? It sounds pretty exciting. If I were a first-time home buyer, once upon a time we were, I would have loved it.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's worth a call if you're a little concerned about, I don't know if I make too much money, worried about credit scores. There are no credit score overlays. So that's important. A lot of down payment assistance programs have credit score overlays saying like you must have a minimum credit score of a 620. This one does not.
Oh.
If you qualify for the program in general, if I get an approval for you for an FHA mortgage, let's say, then you qualify for this program. So there's no additional overlays. So I would just say, reach out if you are thinking that you might want to purchase this year. Let's talk. Let's find out where you're at. Do we need to work on anything? If their income's too high, we have different programs. We have tons of down payment assistance programs. Plus, we have 100% product in-house that has no income restrictions. So if it turns out you're a first-time home buyer, but you just make a little too much money for all of the different programs available, we do have an additional 100% financing option that we do.
Wow.
The loan ladies do.
Okay.
And we can take advantage of that to get them in with no money.
It's a lot of things. Just know there's options.
We got options. We got lots of options.
My experience, and I'm sure you'll agree, you never know what's going to happen next year.
Correct.
Let alone later in the year. So it's kind of one of those seize the day, seize the opportunity, and make the phone call. Let's get connected so that we can both help you, right?
Yes.
All
we would
right.
love to
Thanks
help.
for your time.
Thank
I appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you for having me.